Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Masters of the Universe Classics, Blade. Our first figure from the 1987 Masters of the Universe motion picture comes to the Classics toy line. I've been waiting a long time for this. As you can see, he comes in the standard Masters of the Universe Classics blister card packaging, fully showcasing the figure within. The back gives us a look at a selection of other figures in the Classics line, as well as gives us a brand new bio for Blade. Now, Blade here is a bit of a loophole for the Classics line, as Mattel doesn't yet have the likeness rights from the '87 motion picture. But since Blade was one of 3 movie characters who had an action figure in the '80s, Mattel was able to bring this guy to the Classics line. But you will notice that he doesn't really share the likeness of actor Anthony DeLongis, who played the part of Blade in the movie. Even still, it's a beautiful head sculpt, with great details on the headgear and eye patch, and especially that scar going across the eye underneath that patch. The rest of the details on this figure are equally as impressive. The chainmail armor he is wearing is slightly bulky on the figure, but the details are amazing. Each piece of the chainmail armor is sculpted and painted a beautiful silver, set against black, that really makes it pop. Other fantastic details on this guy include the skull insignia on his chest, the spikes sticking off his shoulders, and the dart shooter on his left forearm. The paintwork is really well done all across the figure, with all of the silver parts having a really nice shine to them. Worked around his thighs are several holstered darts, though these are not removable. They are all part of the thigh sculpt, and as cool as it would be to have a ton of removable little darts, I really don't mind that these are sculpted. Alright guys, let's go ahead and take a closer look at Blade. Now, he's a very basic figure, so there's really not going to be any surprises as far as articulation or anything like that goes. Head's able to turn left and right, up and down. None of the articulation is hindered by the shoulder spikes or anything. It is worth noting that the headgear there, made of a very gummy plastic, so it's very flexible, bends back and forth there. Shoulders can go all the way up, forwards, backwards. It isn't hindered by the shoulder armor at all. You can see there's a lot of room in there, so the arms can still rotate very well. Bicep turns there. You got the standard joints at the elbows. You got the swivels at the wrist. On the other side over here, of course, we've got that cool little dart shooter. That is non-removable. It is glued on to the forearm there. But again, doesn't hinder any of the articulation. Still got the torso rock there, so you can go up and down. You got the swivel at the waist. The legs can still bend outwards very, very far there. Got good articulation. You can still move the legs forwards. You got the swivels at the thighs there. You got the bends at the knees. You got the swivels at the boot cut. And you got very, very tight ankle articulation with no pins showing on there. And you can see very tight, really locks in place. So you shouldn't have to worry about Blade falling over or anything like that. So very good articulation on this guy. All the joints are nice and tight. Like I said, very basic. And then we've got the little armor that he's wearing. The chainmail that he's got on works just like all the other armor that we've seen on any of the other Classics figures. You'll notice that even though he's got the straps that kind of go all the way down to the loincloth piece, it is cut at the armor there. So you'll notice it's 2 separate pieces. It's not one full bodysuit that he's wearing. And it is removable, just like we've seen before. The little tabs are actually on the back of the lats, so they're not on the sides, which is nice because there's not extra bulky on the sides. And of course, you can just pop that off like you would any other armor on any of the other Classics figures. The head's removable, can pop right off the ball joint there. Easily snap that back on in place, just like so. And that way we can remove the armor from Blade if you want to do so. Blade includes 3 accessories for battling He-Man and the heroic warriors. First of all, he includes 2 swords. Where would Blade be without his blades, of course? Now, he actually has 2 different styles of sword. One sword is modeled after his vintage action figure, and the other is modeled after how the swords appeared in the film. Now, on one hand, I think it's cool we get both styles, but on the other, I'm not sure how I feel about mismatched swords. I sort of wish Mattel would have given us one style or the other. Of course, in a perfect world, we would have gotten 4 swords with the figure so that we can display them with whichever style we prefer. Also, the swords are seriously lacking detail. The vintage sword is molded in a gray plastic with no paint detail whatsoever, and the only painted detail on the movie sword is that red hilt. I understand that with all the paint deco on the figure itself, some of the paint apps probably needed to be cut on the weapons in order to save costs, but unfortunately, they look really bland in comparison to the figure. Now, one neat thing is that he does feature holsters at his side for storing those swords when not in use. Now, his third accessory is fantastic. Straight from the movie, it's the laser whip. It's molded in one position, so it's not really flexible, but the laser part of the whip is made of a translucent red plastic. This, of course, allows you to recreate the infamous scene from the film where He-Man was captured and being tortured. Alright guys, it's comparison time. Here's a look at Blade standing alongside his vintage action figure to give you an idea of the difference between the two. So there you go guys, a look at Blade. I've been very excited to get figures from the '87 movie for quite some time. While I continue to dream about one day getting a Langella Skeletor action figure, at least I know that we can get the 3 figures from the vintage line. Blade here looks great, with an awesome detailed sculpt and a fantastic paint job. It's definitely got me excited for the upcoming Sarad and Gwildor that are surely going to follow. Blade is part of the 2014 Club Eternia subscription and will be available on April 15th on MattyCollector.com. Until next time,